Welcome back to the Zero Weakness Podcast, where we talk about how to be a better lifter, how to be a better coach, and everything in between. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Zero Weakness Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Establishment Coffee. Go to establishmentcoffee.com.au, use the code 025 and get 25% off your order and free shipping. Today we have a special guest, Thomas.
Yes, I am the special guest. Thanks for having me on today. No, we're joined by none other than Leigh Skinner, superstar, bench press, Commonwealth Games, international champion of the world, multiple gold medal winner in, I don't know what I'm saying. Leigh, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your lifting history.
Okay, mate. Yes, g'day everyone. Lifting history, I started 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Got introduced to parasport by a good friend, and from there I went crazy. So from 2008, December 2008, I started my first ever powerlifting program, bench powerlifting, and from 2009, it was 2009 March, had my first comp. I made it to the Australian team. Mm-hmm. So from there it went nuts. So 2009 March, May. Yeah, I went to my first international comp, Refereeing Games. Then got a scholarship with the AOS down in Canberra.
Yep.
And high performance scholarship for a couple of years. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time down the Institute of Sport, back and forth. Then traveled the world. I've been to Malaysia. I've been Dubai a couple of times competing. Been to 3 Commonwealth Games. And finally retired from parasport in 2018 here on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Reason was because I'm old, like I'm getting older, and there's no age group in parasport. It's all open.
So you're competing against the young guns.
Oh mate, against you guys.
It's a weird retirement. Just so you compete in the weekend. Doesn't normally mean.
Yeah, he's hanging out with us able-bodied losers now.
Yeah.
Us able-bodied dweebs.
Yeah, and I put the wheelchair away, mate, and hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So, retired at 2018 Com Games. It was cool because my mum and dad like the first time my family and all my Zero buddies ended up showing up, mate, and like I could hear you guys from the back room when we were warming up. When we got introduced, the Scottish dude, Mickey, come out and goes, holy fuck, you've got some friends here, man, eh? Because it just resonated, like everyone's yelling out, so it was pretty cool.
Well, I feel like, so this is for context for everyone listening, this is the 2018 Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast, and we went like it was a powerlifting comp. So we were just being rowdy and loud and cheering, and I feel like everyone else had no idea what was going on. I feel like a bunch of them were just spectators that had picked that event, and maybe a few, friends and family of, because it was a pretty full crowd.
Yeah,
it was a big room, and there was a lot of people there, but we were the only ones that were just like, fuck it, we're going to cheer loud as hell for Leigh. Yeah. So yeah, we kind of dominated when it came to screaming and carrying on.
It was cool.
So across, that's 13 years. 13 years of competing, just under 10 in terms of your actual powerlifting career. What are some of the highlights? You mentioned 3 Commonwealth Games. What was sort of the highest level that you achieved in terms of placing or in terms of personal records? Like what's the most you benched?
Personal records, 172.5 kilo bench at 82.5 kilo body weight.
Mm-hmm.
That was at a nationals here in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? 2010, 2011. But when I look back, and if I had to choose out of which Com Games or whichever comp, I think the one that meant the most was the Scottish, so 2014. Because I injured myself 2011, had frozen shoulder, I'd torn posterior labrum, supraspinatus, normal issues we all get. But I ended up frozen shoulder. And then 2012, I just decided I really missed powerlifting. So I had probably 12 months off to recover and then made it back into powerlifting end of 2012. 2013 was started to really ramp it up to get back to be qualified for 2014. And it was July 2013. I had a strength coach on the Gold Coast here help me out. And we'd do these weird things like you'd pyramid right up to your peak every week. So you'd right up to your peak lift, button off a couple, so I'd go to, say, 170 or whatever, and then it just, before I even stopped to a single on that, rip off a couple of weights, come down to 140, and I'd rep out to, 8 or 10 reps, whatever I can get out.
Yeah.
What happened was, I think my blood pressure went so high, I busted something in my head, and I got a brain bleed.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't good. I had to take 6 weeks off, went to a neurosurgeon, and he said, look, and I was pretty angry at that time because I had 6 weeks off, and this was my big break to get to 2014.
Yeah.
The doctor advised me not to even do any lifting, not do anything, because it's probably an aneurysm or something. We know what's happening, you die.
Yeah.
So in 2013, I went to this neuro, and by the time I got there, I was like pissed because I'd been off for 6 weeks. I said to him, mate, I got 2 questions for you, buddy. And he's like going through my notes and having a look, and I just said, is this going to kill me? And he goes, no, look, it won't kill you. It's called a cavernoma. It's a little vein in your head I busted.
Yeah.
And I said, can I still train? He said, yeah, but not too heavy. Thing is, he didn't define how much is heavy. So I was straight on the phone back to a mate and said, mate, let's go. We're back in.
Yep.
So back into training, but slowly. We didn't do those stupid pyramids and that shit again. I just changed training around and then come up to, we had one qualifying comp for the Commonwealth Games 2014. So that was in January, end of January 2014. And that was the only comp we had in Australia to qualify to go. And so the week before, I'd normally like to go to a gym or go to where the comp is held, have a look, see what's around the lights and just get the feel for the place before I actually compete. So I did that. And I'm in there warming up with the boys, and we went through, done our training. We normally do a open lift on the day, on that week before. And I had 176 kilos on the bar and come down benched. And as I'm driving it up, my wrist rolled and it popped out of my hands and crushed my chest.
Oh, far out.
7 days to go for the comp, and it's like, fuck. So I'm at work that whole week because I had a job where I was managing sitting down. So I just iced up all week. Yeah, and come to that comp that weekend, the next weekend, 7 days later. I didn't go to the doc because I knew if I went to the doc and they said, look, you got 2 broken ribs or whatever, that'll fuck me up.
Yep.
Yeah, mentally. So I just went to the comp and, just went to the comp and did like Rocky, like just turned off the pain receptors.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew I had one lift.
Just switch them off.
Yeah. I knew I had one lift. So I went out and did that one lift, and I was third, which only take the top 2.
Yep.
I went, fuck, I got to go do this again. So I went out to, I think I did 165 kilo lift.
Yep.
It hurt, but I remember just sitting in the back warm-up room, just like no pain, just chanting to myself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to hurt. And went out, I didn't realize how much it hurt. So I have this thing when I'm probably in athlete mode. It's not Leigh Skinner.
Yep.
Leigh Skinner, the man, is the dude, just sits out the back. But Leigh Skinner, the athlete, is a different guy. I sort of trans in my head. And Leigh Skinner, the athlete, went out and did it. But I didn't realize how much it hurt because my son took a video. It wasn't until I went to get up, you could see the pain on my face when I watched the video. I went, holy fuck, it did hurt.
Yeah.
Because I don't really remember any of my lifts.
Yeah.
When I come off stage, that's it. I don't remember until I look at the video and go, oh, yeah, that's right. Cool.
Yep.
So that was probably the biggest, I suppose, trial, mindfuck, head, strong thing to get me to go to the Comp Games. And I look at that and I look at, whether we look at God or we look at the universe or whatever we believe in, something was testing me. And I just kept kicking the doors down because I said, fuck it, I'm going. Simple as that. And so we just keep pushing till we go. And that's what I did, mate. So that's why I think I like that the best.
Yeah.
Comp Games. It means the most because no matter what they chuck in front of us, fucking just keep going anyway.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That point about the bar rolling in your wrists and falling out, I think that's one of the intricacies that people don't realize about powerlifting as well, is that you're not using a powerlifting bar, you're using an Olympic weightlifting bar and bumper plates.
Yeah.
So it's thinner and the bearings in the sleeves, they spin like crazy. It makes it a whole level of difficult. Like whenever we've played around in the past with having the power bench and the equipment set up here, it's so much harder.
Yeah, it's like you you put a 25 plate on, you spin it, it'll go for 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
fuck.
For the people that have benched on you go to a commercial gym, sometimes there's those skinny bars, the bar rolls around in your hand. That's the feeling that you get when you bench with an Olympic weightlifting barbell. I also wanted to, because I actually don't know this, I wanted to know, sorry CJ, you might have to edit this out, I don't know if I'm using the right terminology. Is the right terminology paraplegic? Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, paraplegic.
Well, yeah, sorry.
Paraplegic.
Yeah.
Paraplegic. Yeah.
So can you share a bit of your story about how you got injured in the first place and how you became paraplegic?
Yeah, when I was a young fella, I woke up one day, 18 years old, and couldn't walk. Oh, I could walk, but only just. Like I played soccer for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Used to race my dirt bike, motocross bike, all sorts of stuff when I was a kid. Right into this is back in the late 70s and early 80s, and yeah, one morning I got up and just couldn't walk, and went to the doctors, mate. I went to doctors, so it took 12 months to find that I had a tumour in my spinal cord. So back then they didn't have the technology we have today, like MRI scans and everything. It's old school back in the early 80s, and 12 months later, after a few ops and things, they found I had a tumour. But what happened was the tumour had already grown in my spinal cord down lower in my lumbar and compressed the nerves to my legs and lower body. And so the damage was already done. So classified, we call me a probably incomplete paraplegia or incomplete spinal cord. So you see guys, I still have function on my legs, but only just. I've got probably 5% muscle use. I got a VM in my right leg, the laterals and everything, nothing works. And in my left ankle and everything, nothing works. I've lost my tibant, my calf's going. So between quads and hammies and calves, I've probably got enough to make quarter of a leg.
Yeah, right.
Out of the two of them.
And as time's gone on, so how old are you now? You're
57.
So you're 57. So this happened when you were 18 years old. So over that time, has your health deteriorated or has it gotten better? Like you said, some days, there's been a few times, you've come in here, you've asked me to bring your car up so you can get in your car easier. And then there's other times you just come in and train fine, you're training legs and things like that. So what's the story like? Has your health gotten better or has it gotten worse over time, or is it just like a bit of a yo-yo?
Well, a bit of a yo-yo, but like what happened 3 years ago, I was BDM, business development manager for an automotive company, so a rep, so to speak. So I'd visit 10, 15 workshops a day, and what happened, because I had to walk, you walk a couple of kilometres, I suppose, went to park your car and etc. I started falling over and busted my knee, and it became a regular thing where I'd fall every couple of weeks and just, it's like turn the light switch off. My legs would just collapse. And I went to the docs and we worked out that what happened was my lower spine was starting to collapse because the surgery was bottom of your thoracic and above your lumbar. And the lumbar had started to deteriorate as I got older, and it started to pinch the root nerve for my right quad. So my right quad, as soon as I walk, every now and again, I'd just pinch and just shut down my leg. And so we ended up having spinal fusion surgery in 2019, 1st of April 2019. Where they fused all my lumbar spine and corrected that issue. So what happens now is I walk better than I did. I've got a new AFO, what they call ankle foot orthotic. It's carbon fibre, and it sort of helps. It's like a blade on a person with no leg. So you can think of that concept, sort of pushes me along. But since I've had the spinal surgery, or this last fusion surgery, it's been a lot better. I don't fall over as much. I do fall. I think I've fallen in the gym here a couple of times, but I'm glad you got rubber mats, which is really cool. But I've just got to be careful and watch where I walk, how far I walk, because I fatigue so easy. It's not like someone, I can walk out to the car, probably out to the street if I really have to, but that's it. I'm stuffed.
Yeah, right.
But moving forward, like as we get older, mate, I was diagnosed to be in a wheelchair by the time I was 30.
Yeah,
I told those doctors to get fucked. So
yeah, fuck those doctors.
What do they know? So I was in a wheelchair 3 years ago when I came out of the last surgery. But I haven't sat in my wheelchair this year at all, and I'm determined to try and make the whole year without having to use it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, fuck them. So my poor little legs, they're just getting smashed. But
yeah,
my little chickens. Yeah, they're cool. Lucky you got bones and they hold my ass up. So
you mentioned you get really fatigued. I always make the joke about you and Kivy resting.
Yeah.
So I call these guys the Coffee Club boys.
Yeah.
Him and Kevin Boatwood. Steve Hampton's part of that crew as well. You guys are always just standing around talking shit, sipping more coffee than training. Every time I see yous, and you guys always say the same thing. Well, they always give me shit. They're like, but we're stronger than you. I'm like, yeah, fuck. You're right.
Well,
go easy.
Yeah, look,
Stronger than you, but can you put your hands above your head? Do this. Show us yourself doing this.
oh man, we got 170 years of life between
Yeah,
the three of us. Hey, that's pretty cool. Oh no, actually more, 180. Fuck.
Yeah, because Kivi's another legend around here. How old is Kivi?
Kevy's the granddad, mate. He's cool. He's a fucking cool
70?
dude, eh?
Is he 70?
Yeah, he's 70.
Yeah.
And he's still really strong, eh?
Oh, strong as tough as nails. as well.
Yeah, we're gonna Sabo. We're probably gonna crack a double on 122.5.
Nice.
Fucking 70-year-old man. It's cool.
Yeah.
Love it, eh?
How long will that take you? 3 hours?
Oh, 2 coffees and probably
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, glad we're sponsored by Establishment here.
Yeah.
I want to come back to 2008. You found powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
You said that's when you got sort of pushed into parasport or found it.
Yeah.
What made you go powerlifting over anything else? Like, how did you find that specifically, and
Okay.
what made you stay in it? And also, one more question on top of that: did you dabble in anything else and sort of get conflicted along the way as to what you liked?
So from 18 years old, when I had the first injury, they found out I had a tumor. For the next 20 years, mate, I did nothing other than have a couple of children, married, and tried to be a normal human being or a normal person. Unfortunately, things weren't as good as what they should have been, mate. There was dark days.
Yeah, of course.
Drugs and shit like that, and alcohol. And it wasn't until I was 40. My wife said something to me when I was almost 40. I was 39. She said, I don't want the kids to see you growing up like this, going like this, And I went, fuck, okay. So I needed to change my whole attitude to life, stop drugs, stop drinking, and stop feeling sorry for myself. So I just woke up when I said, when I'm 40, that's it, fucking stopping everything, and I'm starting. So I dieted for a year, changed my health first. So what I looked at is how am I going to change? So I started reading a lot of personal development books, and then changed my diet. So I started eating healthy and I was still overweight, the old dad bod at 40-year-old, but then I thought, well, I need to go to a gym. So I went to 5 gyms on the Gold Coast. This is before Zero was here or you were doing gym. And I ended up at the industry gym, and it's cool because I went to these gyms and I just interviewed, sort of a bit of an arsehole, but I interviewed the owners and see who could help me do what I needed to do. And all of them, they just wanted my money, or 4 of them. I went and seen the industry gym, and Mark Ryan was the owner, and he said, mate, look, I will modify equipment, I'll modify my training, and I'll help you do whatever you want to do. And I went, fuck, I'm in. So I was trained there for 3 years. And then a mate joined me, Johnny Milo, who was a really good training partner of mine back then. And we trained Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for 2 hours every night, like as a bodybuilding train style, hypertrophy. And so I got rid of my dad bod and everything, and then I started to look better, feel better, and then I went to a mate's workshop one day, and he just said to me, he was an amputee, so para rider, like race push bikes.
Yep.
And he said, mate, have you ever thought about doing para sport? And I went, fuck man, I'm not a cripple, I'm not disabled, I'm not in a wheelchair. So my concept was different of what a disabled person is. But he said, mate, there's a whole gamut of sport you can do, and the different selection of how far you're disabled or how you're not, you know what I mean? So we just tried out. I rang Sporting Wheelies, and Sporting Wheelies had a come and try day down at Miami High School, Palm Beach High School, sorry. And yeah, I went and tried out. So I didn't like basketball, wheelchair basketball, any of that. And because I'd been training, I suppose, for the 3 years previous, just as a gym dad, bodybuilder sort of style, I was pretty fit. And they tried to get me to do these things, like a vertical jump. Man, my feet don't leave the floor. I can't. So then the horizontal jump, couldn't do that. But the third test they got me to do was where you sit against the floor, on the floor, the back against the wall, and your legs out in front, and throw a basketball. And then they measured the distance where it went. Well, the girl was probably 5 meters away, and everyone's getting about 5 meters. Well, I hoiked it across the basketball court, and she's gone, holy. Okay, so she's said, had a look at my sheet, because I'd wrote down, I'm interested in archery or shooting or weightlifting. She said, have you ever thought of powerlifting? I went, what's that? So I didn't know. And yeah, she said it's bench press for people with lower limb disabilities. I went, fuck yeah, sign me up straight away.
Yep.
Because I knew I'd been in the gym for 3 years, but I'd really been training all my life, on and off with my legs. But yeah, so I was pretty strong at bench, and that's why I think I went really quick from like December 2008 to being 3 months, and I was on the team, and yeah, it went nuts.
Yeah, awesome.
Wow.
Can you, so for the people listening, can you explain some of the major differences in how powerlifting works compared to able-bodied powerlifting?
Yeah, probably his first structure is the equipment. Like we talked about before, the bar is different. The bench is different. So the bench is 2.2 meters long, but it's flat. It's 500 meters across the base of it where your legs go, but up at your head end is normal 300 mil wide. 300 bar, I think it's about 500 or 600 mil cut. So it's like a normal bench at the top end where your shoulders sit, but the bottom end is much wider and it's longer, so your feet. So what they do is they strap you on, because a lot of the guys that I compete against or did are complete spinal injuries, so they have no function legs, or they're double amputees or single amputee or whatever. So they put the strap on just to give themselves a grounding balance. So you can sort of balance on your bum and your shoulder still, but yeah, it's better to have a strap. It just holds, just like you guys having your legs on the floor.
For sure.
There's no power drive from your legs at all, so it's all upper body. And the difference in the comp part, where we are with able body bench, your head is facing the crowd. Disabled's the other way around, so the head ref sits at the back wall and your head is facing him. So your feet are facing the crowd. And I think the severity or the strictness of a bench as a para is a lot actually.
I was going to say, it's not a little different.
A lot stricter in the rules than able body. So you're allowed to, you get the start call, and you got to come down. You got to self time. There's no press call.
Yep.
But you've only got to touch your chest. You can't indent it. You can't not touch it. You can't bounce it. It's got to touch, and hold there for a full second, and then press it up. And then when you lock out together, you got to be symmetrical. Both elbows have got to lock. Identical time. If there's one locks before the other, it's not foul.
Yeah.
And then they give you the rack call. So it's super strict. I think that's why I probably do reasonably well at what I do now, is because of the training I've had for the last 10, 12 years. Being anal about strong chest, pause, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I did not know there's no press call.
No press call, self-time, which is really annoying. So this is the thing I found watching. I watched you do nationals, and the refereeing wasn't too bad there, but Commonwealth Games are super inconsistent in terms of people would get reds, and then people would do a lift that looked completely different according to our understanding of powerlifting rules, and then get whites. So, for example, I reckon you got robbed on, I think you got called on your second attempt for uneven extension, but it's like if the bar has 2 degrees of lean, they're like, nah, not good enough. That's so much more anal about those little rules. I mean, as an athlete, but I've got the bias of having competed in powerlifting where those things aren't as wildly judged or refereed or whatever. As an athlete, I felt pain for you, because I watched that. I'm like, he's getting robbed on this call. How have you dealt with that over the years? Like you obviously go to these comps, you observe people doing the same lift, the same self pause, have to extend evenly, and I'm sure you see inconsistency in the refereeing. Do you just sort of go, well, there's nothing I can do to change it, this is how it is?
To a degree, it's just disheartening, because we all train freaking hard, right?
Yeah.
Train a long time to do what we do. And what I dislike immensely, that there's human intervention.
Yeah.
So at an international level, you have judges who can't even speak freaking English. They don't know you. If they don't like an Australian, they won't fucking let you through.
Yeah.
And I think it's poor in that sense. But yeah, the way I personally deal with it is it's just like, I still got. I look at gratitude, So I got to be grateful. I'm just there doing my shit. And even though these pricks fail you, like I'm honestly, man, I feel the same as you. When the Com Games, the third lift, even I think I was robbed. I should have got that, which would have been not a record, but it would have been put me in my whole thing of being a powerlifter. Because my coach once said, "Look, you're not going to be the strongest in the world," type of deal, because of your age. I said, "Fuck it, I'll be the strongest oldest dude in the world."
Yeah.
And that would have made me the strongest over 50-year-old powerlifter in the world. Mm-hmm. And I fucking really wanted it. But now I had to stick with second. But It was because of the lift I did. It was, 165 or 166 or something.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And it was I fucking reckon it was perfect. But I think what happened was I talked to one of my other athletes that I used to compete with. He was watching from the crowd.
Yeah.
And he said what happened was when I come out of off the rack, I then reset my shoulders and the bar moved down a millimeter because the head ref had already called start. So I come out of the rack, he's gone start. Like as soon as I got out, he's fucking bang off the mark. I've gone to reset, set scaps.
And they've counted
and
that
the
as an
movement
attempt.
of a fucking millimeter or 2 mil as as your scaps move, your bar moves, they've counted that.
Yeah.
Because Abba come up and he goes, man, what are you doing? And I thought, well, that's just how we do it,
Yeah.
That's so that millimeter of movement,
Wow.
2 or 3 millimeters or whatever it was.
Well, you're number one to us.
Thank you, buddy.
That's
Love
what
it.
matters.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
That's what matters. Yeah, no, I was blown away by the by those sort of differences that we observed when going to those competitions. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
One thing that has always stood out to me about you is that mental toughness that you carry. One thing that we haven't spoken about much yet is the kind of the motivational stuff that you do. You go around and even outside of you going and doing talks to whatever various groups you go and do, even here, you're just a champion, like for people. You're always in people's ears and providing words of encouragement. And it's clearly a passion and also a skill of yours. You're really good at doing it. And I guess I wanted to get away from you helping other people and wonder what it's like internally in terms of, you've obviously had times in your life where you've been like, this fucking sucks. The situation that I'm in sucks, but you're constantly overcoming that and empowering yourself and finding that gratitude. Was that a hard process to reach, to get to this point now? And I know even now you still struggle with it from time to time. But was it that sort of period of time where you went through reading all that self-help stuff? Is that what sort of transformed you and pushed you in that direction? Or was there something else? Like, I'm curious to hear from you how you've sort of overcome that mindset of woe is me and used it to empower others.
Yeah, I think it was my wife. She said to me that I don't want you to do this, take drugs.
Yep.
In front of the kids, which I never did, but I was always, off my, yeah. And she said that to me and I thought, fuck, I want to be a good dad. I want to be the best dad that I can possibly be. So I had to look at how can I do that? So I think the kids were the massive motivation. For guys who haven't got kids out there or ones who have kids, you'll understand. It's a motivator that just beats nothing. There's nothing beats it. So I sort of really looked at that. How I deal with it now is I look at all the good. So many people in the world look at the bad. See, I used to look at, for 20 years, mate, I looked at, why can't I run? Why can't I do what I do? Why can't I race my dirt bike? I was fucking passionate. I want to be Mr. Motocross. That's what I wanted to be in the world.
Yeah.
Why can't I ride my dirt bike anymore? Why can't I? Why? And they're just lip questions that you never get answered because you're asking stupid questions. So I had to work out through, like you say, personal development, self-help. What did I want and how am I going to do what I'm going to do to be the best dad in the world? Or be the best dad that I can be. So I started to be grateful. And it's cool. Like I just, I think there's, for instance, I'll give you an example. Abba is one of the Australian powerlifters. He's from Ethiopia, right? Mm-hmm. He watched his dad get killed in Ethiopia by the police. And I think, fuck, that is heavy. He saw his dad get shot. And then he got chased by the cops. He broke his back. He was a normal dude. Broke his back and ended up in Australia with a broken back. So he's permanently in a wheelchair.
Yep.
And I think, those guys fucking, they live in the dirt. And I've got a bed to sleep in, man, So how lucky am I compared to those guys? It's just an upsetting, it's an eye-opener when you start thinking how grateful we really are. Like we're sitting on fucking comfortable lounges and talking on the internet. Mm-hmm. That's what I appreciate. That's what I look at every day. I get out of bed, I wake up, put my feet on the floor and I say thank you to whoever's listening. Because I think it's a blessing that I'm here for another day. Mm. And I'll do the best that I can to do and to help people. I don't know. I like helping people because I don't want to see people, people have shit lives and kids have shit lives because they have shit parents and all that shit happens. So, but if we can help one person, that's why I did public speaking.
Yeah.
If I can just change one person's direction or thought in that day, I'm fucking happy. I'm a happy man. It's just simple. So I bring that into the powerlifting stuff, and I bring that into the gym. I take it wherever I go. You know, most people come up to me and say, mate, you're really up, and why are you up? And it's like, well, I got no other fucking choice. You know, that's it. And when it gets hard for me, I just go into Goggins mode. It's really hard because like when I had my last op, they'd done a full spinal restructure and cut me right from my belly, from my ribs down to my old boy, guts out, fucking. So it was fairly epic.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, they wanted to give me drugs to painkillers. I said, fuck off, I don't want them. I'm doing a Goggins.
Yeah.
If he can fucking do what he does and runs with broken legs and shit like that, broken bones, I can lay here and recover with no painkillers. So I did it. So that's what I mean by Goggins. You just go tough.
Stay hard.
Yeah.
Just go hard, fuck them.
That's so good.
You know,
no one's going to crush you.
You know, you could have taken the painkillers.
Yeah,
right?
we wouldn't have judged you.
No, fuck it. No. I look at it and I go, fuck it, I like it.
Yeah, fucking A. Sit with it. Sit in the pain cave.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy the pain because it's fucking cool.
I love that. Just a couple things. You know, you talked about showing gratitude. We actually started that on the podcast last week.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I think it's for me it's a massive thing.
Mm.
You know, you say something every day that you're grateful for,
Mm.
and you always realize that, you know, your life is better than what you think it is.
Oh, fuck it.
And we were talking about me and Bridget were talking about, you know, someday, you know, when a big bill comes and she crashed her car, she hit a kangaroo, big excess coming up, whatever, and we're like, oh shit, now I've got this big bill I have to pay on my iPhone 13. Oh shit, my iPhone's dead. I better go do it on my laptop while I'm sitting on this comfy couch on watching my 42-inch screen TV. Like, it could be worse. You could have to pay a bill and you can't eat.
Yeah,
you can't feed your family.
You got to make choices.
Yeah. So, no, that's really cool. And another thing about you being a motivational speaker, Leigh has never once given me words of encouragement.
You know why? Because you don't need it, mate. Look at you. Legend.
Oh, man. Nah, Leigh's a legend. All me and Leigh do is just talk shit to each other every single time I see him. I love it.
That's it, eh? It's cool. So you're like my children, you know, because I'm 57. So I just think that, I get called gym dad by a couple of my gym children.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. I love it. I love being gym dad. I think
I call you Jim Daddy.
big Jim daddy.
Jim Zaddy.
But I'm going to get Zero Gym Dad on my shirt, I think.
Just like, I just wanted to touch on this because you've mentioned a little bit to me in person a few times. Obviously, all these surgeries, your health, obviously it impacts your mental health quite a bit. And I think it's something that we don't really talk about as much as it needs to be mentioned for athletes, as mental well-being for athletes.
Yep.
And someone who's had bouts of depression and gets really anxious and things like that, do you want to touch on your mental health? And because you're quite open about it.
Yeah. Like, I talk because if I can help somebody, anybody, it's worth my big trap, you know.
Yeah.
I think I deal with the mental health stuff is by again being positive. But then people go, just be positive. That's bullshit. You can't just be positive when you're fucking down. You've got to find a way to climb out the hole. And so I think it is what I use is really powerlifting.
Mm-hmm.
It's sport. Sport, it doesn't cure everything, but it cures a fucking lot of stuff. I look at sport as such a strong engagement of people, of human beings, you know. I think we sort of lose a little bit of the art of that one-on-one FaceTime stuff because we use our phones and, you know, we all use Facebook and shit like that. So the one-on-one stuff, just being around another person, if you're feeling down, it really helps to bring you out of that hole. And, you know, I talk with some of the other guys here in the gym, and we just love coming here because I can have a shit day and I can come here and have a fucking great afternoon. And that's it. It's just from the people, and it's the people we got around us. So I think people that have a little bit of depression or, you know, anxiety or anything, they just, if they can find something they're really passionate about, find a sport, come to Zero or whatever you want to do, because the interaction with a human being is really cool. So we're all tribal, you know, we all try to be like a pack of something. We all need to belong. And it's when you're out on your own and you know, that's when it hurts. So come to a place of sport, do whatever, and become part of something bigger than yourself. That's what I sort of look at.
That's awesome because Yeah, I think Zero is like that for a lot of people. It's a lot of people's safe place. And if I'm having a bad day at work for whatever reason, I may be tired, I forget that people come here and they're excited to be here. They're excited to see me. They're excited to see CJ. They're excited to see Thomas, Bridget. Yeah, so that's really cool. That being part of something is so special to you.
Yeah, I think it's a necessity for people. Like I've gone through bouts where I haven't been able to train, and then I go, fuck, I really miss it. I really miss just the camaraderie and just coming in because we high five everyone, or fist pump or whatever. You don't get that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nah.
You can't go down to the local shop and just start fist pumping people in the shop. You could if you wanted to.
You can,
really
but
weird.
yeah.
You're a fucking weirdo. But in here, just make you feel special.
Yeah,
Feel something.
Because sometimes I'm like, what are you doing here? You're not even training. But I've never said that to anyone. But I'm thinking, what are they doing here? I'm like, oh, they fucking love it here.
It's mental health, man.
They're here to hang out.
Well, they call it the third place, right? You've got your work, you've got your home. A place like this is the third place.
You spend a fair bit of time here.
Yeah, it's where you go to get away from everything else and to de-stress. And I mean, that's only possible because of people like you. You know, if we didn't have people like you in the community, it wouldn't be so inviting and so welcoming. So thank you for everything that you do.
You're welcome, mate.
Sorry to derail and go back to this because I wanted to touch on back on the actual sport of powerlifting. One other thing that kind of blew my mind when I started working with you and seeing you at competitions is the way it works in terms of, like Leigh was saying, you're on the bench and some people have legs, some people don't have legs, but there's still weight classes. So if you're in the 80 kilo weight class and you got, maybe your legs don't work and they don't have much muscle, but they probably still weigh 20 kilos versus if they're cut off. Because it's really interesting to see the people in each weight class and see like someone with the upper body of a 125 kilo guy that weighs like 90 or 80. What's the system that they use, or is there a system that they use to account for that? I vaguely recall like a handicap system, a 1, 2, 3. I don't know if they use the word handicap in that, but that's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah. What they do is a lower limb. So if you're missing one lower limb, it's like a 1.5 kilo add on.
Yeah.
So they'll weigh, when you go for weighing, you weigh in 2 hours before comp. And they're always 2 hours, not 24. They're only 2 hour weigh-ins. And you always weigh in. And so someone has a missing lower limb, so ankle, foot, they get a 1.5, I think it's 1.5 from memory, kilo add on to their body weight. You never weigh in with your prosthetics on. You're totally just either nude or shorts or whatever.
Yep.
They add on. So above is like 2.5 kilos, but still, Abba's a perfect example. He's a full spinal injury, and his legs were like broomsticks. He was just the bone. There was no muscle tissue at all. So he had feet, bones, quads, femur and tibia, but he didn't get an add-on. So he had a body probably like mine, a bit bigger, where I'm weighing 82 kilos, he's weighing 59.
Yep.
And
because there's so much less of his legs.
So much less of his legs. So he's got 30 or 20, 23 kilos less muscle tissue on his legs. So we weighed the same, we benched about the same, but he won all the friggin' records because he's 59 kilos, and I'm 82.
Did that ever get frustrating as an athlete to watch?
Yeah, it does, mate, but I don't dwell on that.
Yeah, because
that's negative,
That's like, I don't know about, imagine if me and Thomas compete against each other. You chop Thomas's legs off. He probably won't weigh the same as me, but we'd weigh the same. Like, he's obviously a bigger human than me. Surely has there been other ways they've been thinking about doing it?
No, it's only, I don't know how you could really do it. You go cut someone's leg off and weigh a leg, but then what's an average leg?
Yeah.
Weigh, like, I don't know how else would they do it.
No, I mean, it's
nothing, mate. It's just
very hard problem to solve.
And I look at ABBA and the guys that are complete spinal injuries and they still have their legs, but they have no muscle. Well, fuck, they're a lot harder than me.
Yeah,
because they're in a chair, they can't get out, they can't stand up. I can still stand, so I'm blessed in that area,
And for someone, so I've been around in powerlifting. I've been involved in powerlifting since 2017, 2018. I'm pretty well, I guess you could say, educated across the federations. So I know what's going on in GPC. Always know what's going on in APU, APL, whatever. But I never hear anything about powerlifting for as long as I've been in powerlifting. What does the landscape of powerlifting look like at the moment, and how's it going?
In Australia, we've probably got about 10 athletes, 10, 12, 14 athletes total. I'd love to expand it. We just got the guys, when we compete on the weekend at the APL Nationals, we had four lifters over in South Korea, and they were just at the Asian Pacific games over there, or comp. And we come home, I think they come home with a couple of gold and a couple of silver, bronze. But compared to able body, it's just not out there, you know. It's a shame. It sucks because these guys are, like Benny is 80, I think he weighed in about 86.7 kilos, and he benched 181. Mate, amazing.
Really strong.
Yeah, you've seen Ben. Yeah,
Yeah.
You've seen her in the gym here before, years and years ago.
For sure.
And these guys really need the recognition for what they deserve. They just work hard. They work twice hard as anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always the things that we don't understand as an able-bodied human being. Para athletes, you know, they have trouble. They can't go to the toilet. You know, just the simple shit.
Yeah.
You know, one of my coaches, Greeny, used to, man, you'd get up in the morning at 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom because he didn't feel it. So he'd have to sit there till 6 a.m. before he even went to work. We don't think of the stuff that the para guys people go through just to live a normal human life, just to live a life.
I remember, like, I think about this. I think about this probably weekly, even though it's not relevant in a lot of my life. But the perspective you gave me once, so we had a guy that's trained with us on and off over the years, Scotty in the wheelchair, right? Leigh brought Scotty to the gym, and shortly after he had started with us, he was playing with his dog in his backyard, and he grabbed his dog, and his dog tore his bicep off the bone.
Yeah.
So he ripped his bicep off. And so to me, I'm like, oh, that sucks, bicep tear. But I'm just, assuming bicep tear as it would be for an able-bodied person. And the statement you said to me is his arms are his legs. So you're missing one of them. Now you can't lift yourself in and out of your chair. You can't lift yourself onto the toilet or into the shower. And like life becomes an absolute, us missing an arm because we've torn a bicep becomes a minor inconvenience. Whereas for someone like Scott, it really changes his life for the period of time that he's impaired.
100%.
And so that perspective when you gave me that, it really woke me up a bit. And just seeing the struggles that you guys had in general between yourself, Scott. There was a woman that trained with us for a while there. We've got lots of funny stories about the disabled park at that gym.
Car parking,
yeah. There's some good ones there.
Yeah.
Probably won't go into it because it'll make me sound like an asshole.
No, you were good. That's good. That's what it should be. Sticking up for people with disabilities, man. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
You told that little kid to get the...
Well, no, that wasn't me. That was her. So I'll tell that story. So we had one disabled car park in our park at the last gym, and an F45 moved in next door. So in the afternoon, it would get really busy in the car park. And then there was a video shop on the end. There was heaps of street parking, but people were lazy. The street parking was literally 2 meters from the regular parking. So you could park on the street and walk. And this disabled park would always be open. And you guys, the little crew of our disabled lifters would always come at about 5 o'clock. And it was like 10 to 5, and this snotty little kid pulled into this disabled park. And anytime I saw someone do it, I'd walk out and be like, hey, we have disabled lifters here. We need that park free for when they show up. Sometimes people were polite. Sometimes they were assholes. And if they were assholes, maybe they got a couple of wheelie bins chucked on their car. Maybe I pulled my car in and blocked them in and made them have a chat with me. But this particular kid walked out of his car, and I'm like, hey, I've got someone coming here who needs that disabled car park in about 5 or 10 minutes. Can you please move onto the street? And he told me to go fuck myself. I'm like, what? And I was like, you know what? I know how fiery this woman is. I'll wait. So I waited 5 minutes. She rocked up. I told her what happened. She's like, where is he? So she wheeled over.
Who's this woman?
Oh, she used to train with us here. She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, she just had a right leg amputated, so she's in a wheelchair and she was struggling a little bit. She was a bit angry.
Yeah, right. So she wheeled over into the video shop and she fucking let him have it. She just screamed at him, and the kid started crying, and it was brilliant.
That's cool.
Made my day.
What a fucking wanker.
Yeah, but man, they always were. This one woman went off at me for I didn't put wheelie bins on her car. This was the early days of the wheelie bins. I just blocked her car in with wheelie bins, so they just had to move them. It's a minor inconvenience. And it was her partner and a baby was in the back. She went off at me about the fact that she had a baby in the car. I'm like, is the baby disabled?
Yeah.
No? Well, then don't park in the disabled park.
It's so weird because there's been a few times here, Lee, where I've ran up and like, hey, can you please move your car? I've got an athlete here who's disabled and he's there parking. They're always here we've only had good experiences. They're all like, fuck, I'm so sorry. Get out, move their car straight away. And I've only had good experiences here, but that's fucking, to me, that's mind-boggling that people can be like that, or how insincere they can be.
Oh, mate, look, we're hopefully changing the world, the way people feel about disabilities.
Yeah.
That's my thing. One of the things, like Dylan Alcott, he's Australian of the Year, and his thing is to change the concept of the way people feel, like, about people with disabilities. I can walk, but it's cool to park there because sometimes I can't walk out of the car. I'm like, fuck, wish my car was closer. You know what I mean? So I've had one running with one guy, and I just asked them nicely, and I've seemed to come here every day, and the car park's empty now.
Yeah.
So which is really cool. I think concepts are changing, mate, slowly.
Have you experienced much stigma or bullying because of it over the years?
Mate, not. And when I was a kid, I suppose, like 20-year-old, thinking that because my legs are really skinny, right? So, story is, I used to train my neighbour, my dad's neighbour was like Mike Metzer back in the 70s. Big bodybuilder dude in the 70s. And that was Dad's friend. So he took me under his wing when I was 15 and said, mate, let's go start training. And he measured me up, and I think I had 9-inch arms or something. Like, my wrists are bigger now. My biceps were so small. We trained with him when I was a kid. But as growing up, I had sort of like a bigger body because I'd been weight training.
Yeah.
But my legs were like little pretzels. And I used to feel, whether people do they look or whatever. Now I love it. People come and look. I don't give a shit. I love it. If you want to come and talk to me, perfect. But back in the day, back in the 80s, I think it was a bit different. People would pick on you, but not that much, but just, chicken legs and things like that. And you fuck, if they only knew why, it'd be okay. They look like you just don't train your legs sort of day.
Yeah. How long have you had because as long as I've known you, you've had some form of brace to stop the foot drop on that side. Was that from age 18 or is that something that's come in later?
Come in later, about late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. So I lost tib-ant is the muscle that controls your foot up.
Yeah.
Tibialis anterior muscle. So that's gone, and I have no function of my ankle. My ankle's all numb. My lower leg's numb. I can't feel it. So wear the brace, and it just helps me walk. Like I was saying before, it's carbon. This new one's carbon. So it propels me forward to push with my other leg to step forward. So it's probably, I think, about 99 or 2000 I started to wear them.
Yep.
Yeah, because what I'd do is trip because your foot would drop. It's like a dead fish.
Yeah.
So it just fucking flops around.
And then just catch on the floor.
Yeah, catch on the floor. And what you'd have to really do is accentuate your hip movement to pick your leg up, so that would throw your gait out.
Yeah.
So therefore I was wearing out my lower spine.
Yeah.
And a possibility, those years of not having an AFO, I'd probably wore out my spine. That's why I had surgery.
Yep.
Consequences.
Yeah. This is kind of off topic, but Greg, who competed over the weekend, does he compete in powerlifting?
No, not officially, or
No.
not for the team or anything yet.
Yeah.
I think I'd love to have him there because what did he pick up? 400 kilos.
He's strong.
Yeah.
He's got a big bench as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's in good shape.
110, 110 bench or something.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy as well.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't strap in or anything either,
No.
which would make it harder. It's like, yeah.
Oh.
Even having legs and being on the thick para bench without strapping in, you feel all over the place.
Yeah, you really got to learn that scap setting. That's your grounding. Scap set flat, down tucked. But that's really, it's part of the training, I suppose. We did years and years.
Yeah. Well, we had 3 lifters on the weekend that could have done powerlifting as well in the able-bodied division. So Steve Hendry, Greg, and Lee.
Yeah, true.
That was really cool.
That's awesome.
That's Steve's awesome, mate.
Yeah, he's a legend. I met him at the last comp at Iron Underground.
Yep.
Real good bloke.
Yeah, he trains with us at Zero Brisbane now.
Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I asked him, I was like, surely we're related along the line.
Yeah, mate, he loves it, eh? He tells me.
I've never met someone with the last name Hendry. Yeah, so, but that, because Greg, we mentioned this on podcast yesterday, but Greg was saying he knows his deadlifts don't count in competition, but he just wants to show other disabled people that they can do deadlifts too.
I think that's what it's about, mate.
Yeah,
just
fucking
get
awesome.
down there and just fucking do what you can, because you don't know who you're inspiring. people don't come and say, fuck, that was really good. You inspired so-and-so, but you don't know
Mhm.
until you've done it.
Yeah.
So just go fucking do it. It's cool. Helps people.
Mm.
Yeah,
For
it
sure.
inspires me watching Greg do, like, was it 300 kilo the first lift? And
I
then he
thi-
went the
yeah,
4.
I can't remember. He went something first, and then 350, and then 400.
I just go, what the fuck are you doing, you nutcase?
And do you know what I think we do for his next comp? We are
Well, he's modifying his bench.
Yeah.
So he
Making it
got pretty
higher?
upset that he couldn't get
Yeah.
400. Didn't budge from the floor because the bar bent so much. So he came up after his attempt. He's like, "Can I please do it again?" I'm like, "Sorry, man, we can't."
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And he's like, "Oh well, next time I'll just make my bench higher."
Yeah, that's cool. I was gonna say we should do that for his next comp. Make his bench higher,
Mm.
so he can pull 500 off the floor.
He's doing worlds.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm. Yeah, he'll be down. That'll be cool.
Mm.
Cool to hang out. Yeah, how'd you get, you see how he got up the steps?
No, I didn't actually see any of his lifts.
See, I looked at the steps, being disabled, so you notice things, right?
Yeah.
I struggle getting up the steps. But anyway, I watched him get up the step, and I thought, fuck, how's he going to get up there? Anyway, he jumps up the step, jumps out of his chair, bums it up the step, drags his chair up, and then jumps back in his chair, and then wheeled himself over to the bench and got on. I went,
Oh, I didn't see any of that.
oh, how the fuck are you going to get down there, Greg? And he goes, you're going to just jump it or what? And he goes, oh, I would, but I'm probably at a comp I shouldn't. So, yeah, he bummed back down and dragged his chair down. I thought, wow, cool, eh?
Yeah. What a weapon.
Oh, he's awesome.
So what's next for Leigh Skinner? You just did nationals. Are you going? Do you have any intention to keep competing, or is it just see how the body feels and see what comes up?
Yeah, look, I'd really like to give the Worlds a go.
Yep.
I'd like to try, compete at the Worlds. I just see how the body's feeling. It's a bit sore at the moment. Shoulder's a bit sore, but fuck it, we'll just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm keen
So-
to do the Worlds, and I want to break another record.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Nice. So just for everyone listening, what did you end up benching at nationals this past weekend?
147.5
Which was a world record.
world record
Yep. In the
for the old bastards.
Masters division. And just for context as well, you hurt your shoulder like 2 weeks out of the comp. So you came in not knowing whether or not it would happen.
Yeah.
And then it happened easily.
It's just the way it is, mate.
It's just athlete league. We've seen it thousands of times before where, just something, whatever's happening in training, maybe something gets hurt, and then on the day you're a different person altogether.
Yeah, it's my mate Deadpool.
Little Deadpool.
Yeah, it's because I don't feel it. So when I'm in comp mode or competition mode on the day, you could hit me with a hammer, I wouldn't feel it. Don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it. It's just I suppose I've done it for so long. I just mentally drilled myself into this fashion where a lot of people step up and they go, "Oh, I'm nervous. What the fuck for? Just go lift some shit."
Yeah.
It's like training. It's just a training day. Just a few people watching.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things I do to supplement that, but realistically, break it down, it's just a training day.
Yeah.
And don't care what are they going to do? You shouldn't care what people fucking think anyway. None of your business. None of your business what people think about you. So just go and do what you do.
Amazing. Tell the people about the Deadpool thing, because you got the socks, you got the undies, the belt. You've brought your little Deadpool with you to while you do your podcast circuits.
Deadpool.
Your media runs.
Yeah, famous Deadpool. Why? Years ago, I was doing a personal PD class with a guy, and he's my mentor, Dwayne, and he said to me, "If you could be a superhero, what would you be?" And then a few people, they're going Batman, and one of the girls said Wonder Woman. I went, "Fuck it, I'll be Deadpool." And he didn't understand why. People think, "Why do you want to be Deadpool? You go fucking kill people." I went, "It's not the point. Deadpool is the reason I want to be Deadpool is because he can regenerate limbs."
Huh.
And so when Deadpool got his leg cut off, he grew a new leg or a new hand. And I think, fuck, that's what I've been trying to do all my adult life, is probably to regenerate 2 limbs. So I'm very close to Deadpool. It's not that I go and kill people.
No.
I just want to regenerate limbs.
Plus, he's funny and he talks a lot of shit, so that matches up to you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Both the biggest shit talkers I know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like brothers. Me and Ryan.
Amazing. All right. Any final questions before we wrap things up? CJ?
No questions. It just I'm always so inspired by you. It wasn't until this chat I actually knew what you had, and something you said to me like a few weeks ago. It wasn't even you weren't even trying to teach me a lesson or anything. I was just having to do so much volume in squats. I had like 6 sets of 8, and I just wasn't keen for it. I didn't want to be here. And you were watching me warm up, and you just came up and like, wow, that's like such a cool squat. And I was like, oh, all right. Like,
Yeah.
I was warming up with one plate, you know, and you're like, oh, I just really appreciate seeing a good squat because I can't. And it's stuck with me like ever since. Oh,
Being
yeah.
grateful, man.
It
Being
really
grateful.
makes me, I can't,
Yeah. Yeah, that was about 3 weeks ago or something. You were just in front, I was the bench behind you, and I just went, fucking look at
You with
CJ.
Kev. You with Kev.
I was with Kev, and I was just, me and Kev were just fucking pausing, doing nothing as usual.
Yeah.
And I was just
story.
watching you squat, and then I went, that is smooth. Like, you were really smooth. And I thought, that's cool, there's no bounce. And I just went, fuck yeah, man, I got to tell him.
I wonder what day that was. I've never seen that, Thomas.
What, CJ squatting?
Yeah, smooth.
A smooth squat. A good one, yeah.
CJ training.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
3 weeks ago.
yeah, it was 3 weeks ago.
I know.
Because that would have been week 1 of my vlog.
Yeah.
Sets of 8. And
I
yeah,
remember that, yeah.
I just remember just not wanting to be there, didn't want to train. And when you said that to me, I was like, oh man, as much as I hate having to do this right now, imagine if I couldn't squat at all. It'd be a whole different thing I'm missing,
Yeah.
let alone, I miss peaking or whatever, you know what I mean? Just not being able to squat. And it just made me, it literally like, you were just saying compliment to me, but it was like the biggest slap over the head. Like,
I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to slap you.
No. Like that's how I was like,
yeah.
I'm whining over something that's like completely.
I think it's just, I just looked and I went, yeah, that's cool. And I don't know why I did watch you squat, honestly. Is there something in whatever, the universal order, whatever, just makes me do shit. And it's cool. And I really appreciate you coming back and saying that because I didn't know. I just, like, I do things in the gym one day. A guy got on the scales the other 2 weeks ago and I grabbed him on the guts and said, fucking get off, fatso. And I don't even know his name. And I think, oh, fuck, he's going to look at me now every time I fucking come in. He's going to hate me. I can't remember his name, but anyway, I thought I just do stupid shit sometimes.
That left a good impression on me. So
I left a good impression with you and some poor fella downstairs.
His name was Thomas and he hasn't forgotten about it.
So no, I appreciate the feedback, CJ, because it is important. Like our mental health stuff is important. You know, we all come to gym, and some days are shit, and I think it's super important. We can all just lift each other up. It's a little comment. Hey man, there's a smooth squat. I like it, but it's stuck with you. And I appreciate you saying the same back. Yeah, it's cool.
Man, I don't have a question, but I just want to say I admire who you are. The way you carry yourself, the way you faced, the way you deal with adversity, just everything. Just, like I said, just the way you carry yourself and the energy and the impression you leave on everybody around the Zero is infectious. And, you're just a beautiful person.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
You're the man, Leigh.
You guys made me fucking get tears at 57 anyway. I'm supposed to be some stupid, strong powerlifter. I get fucking tears when people say stuff.
Nah, I'm getting a bit emotional as well.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We'll have a cuddle off camera.
Strong people cry.
Yeah, mate. That's the whole thing. We all,
that's right.
all men try to be macho and shit, but fuck it. I love when you have a bit of a tear. It's an emotional thing, you know. And I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate being here. And Thomas, you know, helped me out all these million years now. How many years have we been? I don't know. 6-7 years or something.
I don't know. It's aged me, whatever it is.
Thomas was only a young man when I met him.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be going on 6 years for sure. Something like that.
We met at your first gym. Remember the first one at Nerang?
Yes.
And then I
you
changed. Yeah, I come once and then I changed friggin' jobs and I couldn't get there after that. Oh, fuck. So that was a bit disappointing because I would like to be like your member number one. Back then.
You're an OG. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, mate.
Leigh Skinner, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a key member of the community and inspiration to so many people, especially us. We really appreciate you and love you for everything you do. And keep an eye on Leigh's continued journey in powerlifting. He's not super present on social media, but he's out there. You can find Leigh Skinner.
Yeah, just Google my name or whatever. It's out there.
Just Google me. Yeah.
Google me.
He's on a media run at the moment that he might be a bit hard to get hold of.
That's right.
Oh,
He made a little bit of time for us.
come on, guys. I got to go. Next. No.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
guys.
Lee.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to the ZeroW Podcast. If you want more information, head to our Instagram, ZeroW_weakness. Hit the link in the bio for all of our services and any information on upcoming workshops and events. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review so we can have a broader reach and answer more people's questions. Thank you once more.